Welcome. Today we're going to be working on a city silhouette. So what you're going to need is some markers and crayons and a piece of paper. We're going to get started. So what I like to do is I like to fold my paper in half so I know where my silhouette's going to be. I'm just doing a rough fold in half like this. Nice and long ways. And then I'm going to open it on up. Once I open it up here, I'm going to go ahead and take a little crayon here. It could be any color. I'm doing dark blue or maybe gray. I'm just kind of going like this so I get the idea of where my ground is going to be. It could be like the street in the city, so maybe I should have used gray, but it doesn't really matter. Whichever color you got to kind of give you a ground line. Now, before we get started, we're going to draw our trees. So I'm going to get some brown and some green, and we're using the crayons. I'm just going to do a few up here, and you want to fill them in nice and solid. Okay, I'm just doing some of the tree barks first. And then I might go in here with some of my trees. Kind of do my scribble trees where I go in circles, circles, circles. Nice green, beautiful trees. Maybe some bushes down here. All right, now we're going to go in and start drawing our building. So I recommend outlining them first in crayon. And you can use different color crayons, whichever you'd like to do. And then I'm going to go ahead and do the windows kind of in yellow. You can do them in white if you'd like, whichever colors you prefer. All right, then I'm going to do another building here. And I'm doing mine quick, but you can do whatever kind of buildings you think you might like with different shaped tops. Any colors you like. Now we're just outlining, so don't go ahead of me. We're not actually filling these in. We're just kind of outlining them. And I'm doing some of the windows and the outlines. I'm not filling in yet because we're going to do that with watercolor marker. Okay, and then here's a door. And this is kind of what a city would look like at nighttime. The nice bright yellow lights on. You can't really see too much details, but you do see that these windows are on. All right, so the next step I'm going to do is I'm going to get my different colors and start coloring these buildings in. So I did outline this. I'm going to go in here in between. Now we're doing that. We're coloring in with watercolor markers. Okay, and with your watercolor markers, go ahead and color each one of your buildings in. So here I colored one building in. So go ahead and hit pause, and then you can go ahead and color the rest of the buildings in, just these ones right here. All right, so after I color these in, even though we have the green here, I'm going to go in here and just kind of reinforce some green with my markers. And you'll see why in a minute. Kind of filling in those trees, some of those bushes. I would also go on top, just touch them a little bit with this yellow with your marker. Yellow marker on top of your crayon. I know it doesn't really want to blend, but you'll see why we do that in just a minute. Now we're going to go ahead and fill the sky, and it's going to be a night sky. So I'm just going to take it and I'm going to go in this direction and just take my blue and kind of just do these like swishing motions like this. Not solidly filling it in, just going like this with the side, making sure you get the broad end on its side and just kind of doing these little swipe motions. And in our night sky, I might add just a few little bit of purple to make it a little darker. And then after I do the purple, I might do a hint of yellow in here too. That's really starting to blend and look like some nice colors. Now for the water, this is the city silhouette going into the water. I'm going to kind of do like this sweeping motion like this, but I need to really fill in this whole entire bottom with watercolor marker. So I'm really going to go back and forth and fill in this whole thing with blue. Going right up to the line. But I don't want to solidly fill it in because then you won't really be able to see it all really well. So I'm just kind of going in on the side here, filling it in as best as I can. All right, and then the next step I'm going to do is I'm going to add just some yellow into this bottom. All right, now I kind of go in on the side like this. Adding some more just yellow watercolor. And again, it looks a little different than my sky because I'm doing these longer and kind of sweeping motions, and I really want it colored in really well. So I'm going to go back in and kind of fill it even more with blue. And I'm not going off the ends of my paper because I don't feel like getting it on my countertop right now, but if you have something underneath and you can go to the ends of your paper, feel free. Okay, now I kind of have it nice and filled in. So now I'm going to get my paper towel and a little bit of water, and I'm going to dab the bottom with watercolor. Sorry, with water, which will make this into watercolor. Okay, dabbing the bottom. Now I'm going to dab my top. Squeeze. We don't want it super soaked because we don't want this paper to accidentally rip, but we want to get it nice and full of water. Okay, once we got that, we're going to carefully fold it over and fold it in half like we did earlier. Make sure it's nice and neat. And again, we don't want to rip it. And I notice there's some color here that looks like it didn't get wet, so I'm just going to kind of help it and push here with some of my water on the back side of it to make sure it's really transferring. And make sure you touch. And you don't want to slide your hand across because that could rip it. You just want to blot up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. You don't want it to rip. And we can take a peek and look at that. It transferred onto the bottom. And then when this dries, it's going to look beautiful. That's all for now. Hope you liked it. If you do, please like and subscribe. See you guys next time. Thanks.